It's just me and Mario.
Sounds good.
I can't hear you. I think you might be on mute.
Am I on mute? No, it doesn't say I'm on mute. Can you hear me now?
Or never mind. I think I'm not right, and I think that my AirPods are on. Hold, please. Oh, hello. Yeah. So, at the bottom of your screen, sort of where you turn on the chat function.
Share.
Yeah.
Okay. Where? So here, I guess, is what I'm going to share. Perfect.
Hold on, I'm breaking things. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Problem is, there it goes. My other little tab comes down. I want it to be on here. There you go. Perfect.
Nailed it.
Yay. Now, how do I unshare screen?
I believe you do it the same way. Okay, like I just tried to hit share. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I found my way on.
Awesome. How are you
What's
doing?
going on? Oh, good. Working on building inspections, and that's about it. I hate building inspections. Worst part of my job.
I know.
So how are you doing with the kids?
Good. I bribed them with ice cream. If they stay out and quiet and you guys don't hear them, we're going to get ice cream from the little place down the street after lunch.
Oh, I just found a low-carb ice cream bar.
Oh, which one?
Breyers. It's a chocolate bar with almond ice cream, and it's 5 carbs.
Oh, awesome. Did you try it?
Yeah, I had 3 last night.
There you go.
I haven't had ice cream since October, so it was kind of a big deal.
Good. Good morning, Mona and James.
Hey, James. Hey, Mona.
Hey.
Hey, you got the mask last night, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Morning, Lynn.
Morning, Chuck. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my mask.
Cool. Where'd you get that?
Chuck has a friend that makes them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've bought like 8 so far.
Nice. Better not tell your mom you got that many, Mona.
No, I mailed them to her this morning.
You got to make sure she wears them.
Right.
Boy, ain't that the truth. My aunt is sneaking into Texas today. She flew to Oklahoma City, rented a car, and is driving there today because if she flies into Texas, she has to go in a 2-week quarantine. But if she drives into Texas, she doesn't have to.
You're kidding.
No, so she's sneaking in.
How old is she, Mona?
She's flying in from Chicago, and so if you fly in from Chicago, you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh, from Chicago. Huh.
So I'm really kind of disturbed and upset about all of this because I said, so when you're visiting with my mom, are you going to be wearing a mask? And she laughed at me and she said no.
Oh.
And
How
so
old
then
is
I
she?
asked my mom, she's 71.
Okay.
No. She's 69.
Hey, Penny.
But my
Your
mom
mom
is
is
79. My mom is
Oh,
79.
okay.
My aunt is 69.
And prescription drug coverage additional cost. The Go Medicare Benefits Help Center is open now at 800.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. What you got on your head, Gina?
A headband. I just really wasn't feeling it today, so it's just kind of a quarantine here going on.
All right.
Sometimes it's just a ponytail kind of day. No.
You at the office, Mona?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Thanks for doing this, Kristen.
You're welcome. I think
You're the rock.
we're gonna try doing it monthly until we get everybody understanding it and
Cool.
comfortable. There's a lot to learn for it, so.
May I help you? This is what, can I help you? Yes. Okay, that'll be fine. Okay, well, do so. Can they give me a call just before they get here?
Kristen, did you get your hair did?
No, I have not. I have horrible roots going on.
I can't see it. It looks good.
Thanks. No, I'm ready.
Me too.
Casey Gray went to the groomers today.
She did?
Oh, good.
Yes, she needed it bad.
Mona, how are they handling that with the groomer?
Say again?
How are the groomers handling that? Are they just allowing you to drop off the dog or what?
Yes, ma'am. This is a new groomer. Our current groomer is not open yet. They actually texted last night and said they were taking appointments for the end of the month. But we were the only people there. We dropped off at 8:45 this morning, and I don't know if they're just doing one dog at a time. We've never been to this place before.
Where'd you go, Mona?
Bark Avenue on Virginia, right?
Okay.
Just a block or two south of Bates.
Okay.
North of Bates. Sorry. But she's a straggly mess.
Just like the owners.
Very much.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get in a windstorm, it's no.
Did you get new glasses, Mona?
Yes, ma'am.
They look good. I like them.
Thank you.
Kristen, are you in the country today?
I am. We're going to pack up this weekend and start heading back.
You are?
Yeah. 7 weeks has been, a lot of fun, but my own stuff.
Right. Somebody's watching The Price is Right.
My husband.
Hey, Rob.
It's a brand new car.
Katie, ever, Katie? Come over here, Katie. Stand right here next to me. We're going to play a game called Lucky Seven.
Here's a dog's life at my house.
Aw.
Oh, so cute.
A little puppy in there.
Now, every number you give me, for every number you're
Spoiled.
Okay, I'm getting coffee. I'll be back.
Okay.
$1, but you only have $6 to lose. So don't go crazy. A what? That was half your money, Katie. That was half. That was it right there.
Hi, girl. Yeah.
6.
Hi. Say hi.
Okay. Hey, you got that shit. You got $2 left to lose. What number to give me? You can be off by $2 on either side of it. The win is 321,627. So 7. If it's 5 or 6 or 8 or 9, you win. Let's see. Well, 7 also was a great. It's 7. Yes, you got it.
You got the kids today, Patrick?
Yeah, I sure do. They're downstairs being all too quiet right now.
Oh, that's always frightening.
Yeah, I'm a
Too
little worried.
quiet's not good.
And today for him school-wise is pretty much just a catch-up day, so they don't really send a whole lot of assignments. So it's a little bit good and a little bit bad all at the same time. So
Yeah.
they've been pretty good though.
Hi, Randy.
Uh-oh, speak of the devil.
Hey, Rob, how's the cheese doing?
Say hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. Who you got with you here? Who's this? Lemon. You guys working on school stuff? We don't know what to do. Why don't you go do that? I think.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. How's the cheese?
I made a lot of cheese. I was getting free milk,
Yeah, that's amazing.
isn't it? I know they were dumping all the milk. I made a bunch of feta. It really didn't turn out very well, but
Why?
I don't know why. I'm gonna remake it. It's okay. It's just not as good as I used to make it. But I'll it was my first foray back into it. I haven't made it for like a year or so. So.
So when's the wine and cheese party?
Well, I have some blue cheese and some brie and some blue brie and some cheddar. That's all going to be done in about 4 months. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I should show you my my blue cheese. It's really icky looking.
Is it ready yet?
No, no, it's just, but it's all blue. It's all moldy.
I like blue cheese.
I love blue cheese. I love blue cheese. Yeah, I love it.
Hi, Steve. How you doing? Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
You guys are talking all the cheese. I like cutting cheese.
Nice.
No one
That's
said
nice.
that? Come on.
That's nice.
Everybody's quarantining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real social distancing activity. Hey, am I going to have to take notes, or is it just all going to soak in?
I am going, Gina is recording it. I will be making notes and sending them out when this is over. And we're going to do this a couple different times until everybody's comfortable with it.
Nice.
So we'll have a couple more training.
Sounds like you don't have faith in us.
It's not that I have faith. I just know a lot of people can't make it today also.
Oh, I see.
And I have a bit of a snag with the recording. I can record it, but the file size is so large to share an hour-long video But that's been a bit of a snag on how to share it. You certainly can't email it. So
Can you download it
Can't
to
you compress
YouTube?
it?
I have tried compressing it. I'm still working on it, guys. I'm still working on it. We're trying to learn how to use Docusign, and I'm not a videographer, so I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this is, and I'm not a professional at it yet, so I promise I'm working on it. Maybe I can post it to YouTube and then send a link. I think that might be best.
Sounds good. Are we ready to get started?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen with all of you.
Do you want everyone to mute, Kristen?
That works. And then if you guys have questions, I know there's a comment section. And we'll do questions at the end too. Kay has allowed me to use her Docusign. That way you guys are seeing exactly what you will see when you sign in. Instead of an admins, we have extra tabs, extra information. I was trying to cut back on anything you wouldn't need. So to begin on here, you guys, can you guys see all of your faces on my screen too?
Some.
Yeah. Like 5.
Okay, I'm gonna move us over. Okay, so when you first get in and you sign into Docusign, this is what your screen's gonna look like. It's gonna take you to the signature side of Docusign. If you go over to the right corner where Kay's face is, if you have not updated your profile, it'll have your initials there. So either one, and you click, there's gonna be a place to switch to rooms. So on here, trying to find a good place to put all of you. Okay, perfect. This is your activity screen, your dashboard. There's nothing for you to do. It's just an overview here. Underneath activity, this is going to show your recent room. It means that someone has recently been in the room. If you looked at a document, if staff was in there adding a document, changing a document, it's all going to be right here, and it's going to update, but there's nothing you need to do. As well, underneath where it says new rooms, if the staff has changed it by adding a file, moving it from active to closed, it's going to show as a new room. Down here, these are the newest documents we have added to Kay's room. So everything's just gonna pop up. I was in there last night playing with it, so you'll see that it was at 9:15 when we were in there last. And over on the right side, over here where it says new messages, we as a team, the staff, decided that we are not gonna utilize the new messages on the right side. The reason for this is, if we send you a message through a new message here, it's gonna come through on your email. But when you reply, you would have to then log back into here to reply. And we know that that's asking for you guys to leave email, go back to Docusign, and a lot of times you guys check your emails on your phones and other places. To be going back and forth is asking a lot. So I'm gonna show you another place we're doing messages, but this way we can communicate through email, and you guys aren't having to log back into Docusign just to reply to us or to see what is going on. So we're gonna go to rooms. And this is where all of your active files are. If it's an active listing, if it's a closing, anything will be in this area here. So I'm gonna look at her. This details tab, you guys are more than welcome to utilize. Staff, we are not filling all this in. It just has a lot of extra information. If you want to add your sellers, if you want to add any offer details in here to keep notes, that is completely up to you. We just ask that you try not to add anyone to the room. So over here where you can add a seller, there's a place for you to like add their email and try to link them to it. It's going to deny them if they try to access it. So that's just going to add more confusion. We're trying to keep this as an office folder. So I'm going to go to the next tab, which is task. And this is where I feel a lot of you have had questions, because when you click on this task tab here, it is going to show you everything that's in this room, but there's nothing you can do. This task tab is truly a staff task tab. This is where we work out of. We have quite a few more options up here that you guys do not see when we're in task. Is that me echoing back? Okay. So this is just an overview. There's nothing you guys can do. You guys can just see what's in the folder, and that's it. If you go over here to documents, documents is going to be where you guys can clearly see what's in the folder. You're going to see if it has been approved, needs corrections, if it needs to be reviewed, and I'm going to go over all that. So if it says needs review, that means that staff received the packet, we did our check, and then we uploaded it and we split the document into these folders. However, it means that it still needs the audit from Joan. Once it has the audit from Joan, that's when it will say corrections required, or over here where it says complete. If it's complete, there's nothing else we need. If it says correction required, that means that something in the file needed to be corrected. And I'm going to show you in 1 second where to go for that. We also are splitting these files where all the closing docs are underneath residential closing. And then if you scroll down, all of the listing docs underneath residential listing. If we do not have the listing side, that piece will not be there. And this is where we can store any additional forms that you send us. You can then add it in here. You can send it to staff. We can add it in here, and I will go with all of that. So when it says correction required, to view that message, you can go right here to history, and it is going to be right there. And it's going to say who said they needed it. So I sent her a message on 4/28, and then it went again yesterday on May 5th, saying that we needed an amendment referencing the initials for the seller. In the history tab, you will be able to see when the staff added it to the packet, if they've declined anything, and even when we approve it, it'll then be in here too. Everything we do is documented in that history tab. If you go to people, this is going to show you, you know, of course, yourself will be in this room. This is the way to write someone. So if you're going out of town and you're going to need Lynn to look at your file or have access to something going on, you can easily click add email, and when you start typing Lynn in, well, there she goes. You can invite her in and choose a side, and you can just put her in there as an assistant. That way she can't even do anything, but she can view everything. And it will then invite her into the room. Sorry, Lynn's a broker, so she already has access into there. So it will add her as another person. Like I'm in here with Kay because I'm her transaction coordinator.
I'm in.
It'll add Lynn then.
I'll be back.
And this way they just have easy access, and then it's just as simple as going in and going to access and then removing them once you're back, or you don't need them to be in the file anymore. But you aren't then having to share all your documents, email everything over. They just have a quick access for anything they can help with. The envelopes tab is here. If you want a quick way to go to Docusign, you can create a new envelope, upload it straight from your Rooms doc, the form, and it's the same template as your e-signature. And it's going to be able to add a recipient, put the subject line, a message, and move forward. Again, that message, I know it says messages on here, but we are not using that message center, just to cut back on the confusion. It'll be here in history, as well as once Joan now audits a file, she will be emailing you and letting you know what is needed. She'll also be giving you guys a phone call, and she'll be putting that email at the bottom with those documents. Another great place to go in your dashboard, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here, is this was the main screen. There's a task on your dashboard, and this is going to list all of your outstanding documents that you need for all of your files. So you guys can easily click over here, and the comments will say they needed a condo resale certificate, and her notes will be right here. I will let you know, Amanda and Haley are sharing a Docusign room account with Hannah. So whenever you guys see a comment, whoever audited it should have their initials and their email address. If there is no initials or email address, then it was Hannah. But for instance, this one was Amanda, and she put her comment on there that the form was required. So this is an easy cheat sheet to always have at your fingertips to know what's missing. You're not having to click in and out of each file. You can just go to your desktop, click task, and it'll have them all listed. And if you have 10 files and there's 20 things missing, down below, it'll have a 1 and a 2 page. That way it's still right here, and it'll put them in order.
Kristen, can I ask real quick what the order is? Is it the order they were received, or?
In the order that they were requested. So the oldest will be at the bottom to the newest. Okay, so these are Kay's active files that we have going on. The review tab is here. So if you guys accidentally try to close a room or delete a room, it's not going to let you completely do that. It's going to move it to a review for the staff to see. So that way nothing's accidentally ever closed or deleted. It'll just hang right here, and the staff then can go back and make it active again. We don't lose anything. The closed file is when the staff has either received a mutual release or we've closed it with HUDs and a commission check, and we will move it to this file here. And these files, of course, are not all that Kay's closed, but these are the ones that she has closed since we transitioned from our old system to the new system. They're in here. And you can still access anything you need out of here. Go into the documents. Another thing with these is if in the future, let's say your client calls next year at tax time and needs that settlement statement, you can email it directly from here by clicking on this dot. And then you get all these lovely tabs here. You can download it to your own desktop. You can email it directly to them from here. And I'll show you real quick. And then you can even change the message and send it. You can also copy yourself on here. So that way it goes to multiple, you can be copied on it, and it'll send it directly to them. So you're not having to download it, put it in your email, resend it to them, and they'll have that access. You can also move this or copy it. So if you want your own copy, or you lost your file and you're wanting it saved somewhere else, you can click on multiples and combine them, create a name, it'll save at the bottom. And then that way you have just one file and you can send it to yourself instead of emailing each document. So right here, that's all the combined documents, and I can then email it to myself, or I can download it, or you can even just hit copy, and if you hit, and you can move it. So you can move it to another room or my documents. Which this is my documents. So you can keep copies of anything in here. Anything you put in my documents is personal. So the staff isn't gonna see it, all the additional office isn't. It does take a second to pop up and they're all in there. So I'm gonna go back to the rooms. The inbox is, if you want to send an email to yourself, we are not utilizing the fax number because you guys have fax numbers through the office. But if you have an email chain, let's say with your client, and you're wanting to save that, or even with the other agent, someone to document, like on, perfect example would be this Hannah file. There was issues with the condo association and there was an email chain. We can forward it by copying this email and putting in your email address and forwarding over, and it'll save right here in inbox. And then that way we always have it. You can also copy it, then move it to your documents. Do you guys have any questions with the files? I wanted to move over to notifications. Go ahead, Mona.
How do we know when staff has audited a file that has been turned in, whether it's a listing or a contract?
So when we put it in, the staff, me, Amanda, Haley, we will send you an email now, and the emails will be at the bottom. To know when Joan does her audit, this lovely piece of paper now will be at the very bottom. It'll say audit done and have her initials. And if you look at it, it'll say the date that she audited it. And she will also be putting an email now in here along with this, which is something we've just started, which will be the copy of the email she sent you of what she was needing. Joan will be sending you an email that says, audit is complete. At this time, as long as nothing changes, there's nothing else needed for this file, or audit was completed today and I am needing the following A, B, and C, and that will now be inside here right next to your audit done. Does that help?
Whether it's a listing or a contract?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, let me correct that. Joan will be doing the auditing on the close once we have a closing packet on it. So the listing packet, the staff will be doing. Joan right now is focusing on when we get the closings in. She'll be auditing the whole file at that time from listing to closing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to go up here back to Kay's face and go to preferences. And you guys can play with all this, put your contact information, add a picture, create your profile. That's up to you. I really suggest you guys go into notifications because they have a lot of options over here. I highly suggest that first off, we turn off this daily 24-hour summarize, because that means that every night you guys are going to get an email of anything and everything that went on that file. And it is going to say, Kristen created a listing packet, Kristen added a listing contract, Kristen added a listing amendment, Kristen added a lead-based paint. As you can see, that becomes a lot of emails. As well as all here. So every time someone views a document, each document they view, you'll get an email for. You can request to receive it anytime someone puts something in your inbox, someone shares or moves access for a document. So when I split it and I move it up to that folder and I'm giving you access to it now, it'll all be in there. Someone adds you or removes you from a transaction. So when we create your room and we assign that to you, if we, anything to do with your Docusign envelopes, a transaction room has been submitted for approval, which that alone for emails. So when Hannah goes in and puts your commission check in and clicks it to close, then she goes in and approves it. She has to approve it 2 more times for it to push over to close. You will get an email for each task she does, and then the task and the reminders. This task reminders piece is good because you guys will then see when you're out, have an outstanding document, but it sends it 2 to 3 times a day. And at this time, we cannot change the time frame of how often it sends it. Docusign is going to be doing another update the end of next week, and we're hoping that they get that where we can set it to it goes daily. I did put on here that she receives an email whenever a comment's made on anything in her room or someone adds a message in her room. And then those will go to you and remind you daily that those are there.
Which one should we change, Kristen?
I suggest you uncheck all of them and only have the bottom 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then make sure you hit save changes. We had someone that had like 200 emails in the matter of like 2 weeks because we had a bunch of closing files and listing packets at once. And that just starts spamming your inbox. And I feel like you guys have enough coming through to not have to worry about every little thing, you know, in this file. So that is everything with Docusign. Do you guys have questions? I can't see all of you, so.
I have a question.
Unrelated to Docusign, it looked like Kay had a 132 that looked like she could type onto it. Can I have one of those?
Yes, I will email it to you.
Thank you.
I'd like one. I'd like one too.
Sure, I'll send it out to everybody today.
Hey, I have a question. So
Sure.
where do you want us to turn them into? Just email them to you or Hannah?
Yes, we still want you to email them to your, the person at your front desk, which is Amanda.
Okay.
Or myself. At this time, Haley is not in, so you can still forward to me or Amanda, or info is another one, and then we distribute from there.
And is there some, when the file's created, is there some code we're supposed to put on there so it goes right into the file?
No, you'll send it to us. We're going to upload it, and we'll let you know that it's in there. And you can look in there at any time.
Okay.
The problem is, if you guys start adding documents, we aren't notified.
Okay.
Unless we turn on all our notifications, and then again, that floods us. And then you guys are gonna be like, well, I put it in the file, and we were never notified to help clean that up and move things forward.
Okay. And on the signature part of it, are you going to turn on templates?
We are going to be working on adding the templates. Yes. You guys, just so you know, can create your own, like if you have favorite documents that home warranty would like to ask you guys about, you guys can save it in your My Documents here. So it's easily to pull from when you're in Docusign, or that 132, any of that. But yes, we are going to be working on templates. Amanda and I will be doing that.
Okay.
Anything else? When you guys log in today and you start messing with your rooms, if for some reason it says you don't have access or you can't mess with the form, or there's just anything you have questions, you guys are more than welcome to email me, call me, and we can walk through this together and get it all figured out. I know I had a couple people that their rooms weren't linking properly. I really feel like we got all those bugs out. But if for some reason yours does not switch over to rooms, let me know and we'll check it all out.
You did a great job, Kristen. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we're going to do this again. Mary said in probably a month or so we can get you guys comfortable with this. And if you have any other questions, just email me. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen.
Sorry, I'm on mute, guys. I'll work on compressing the video and figuring out the best way to get access to this so you can watch it again if you choose to.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank
That would
you.
help.
And I'm going to do notes also with screenshots, and I'll email them out to everybody to have at your fingertips as well.
Perfect.
So, all right. We'll talk to you
Thank
guys
you.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye now. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Sounds like a
Bye. Everybody
plan.
have a great day.
Okay.
You too.